What would you do if someone tried to kill you? For most of us, the natural response would be a storm of anger, fear, or maybe even a desire for vengeance. But what if I told you that over 600 years ago, a powerful sultan came face to face with a man who had attempted to assassinate him, and instead of ordering an immediate execution, he made a decision that left his entire court in stunned silence? This is the true story of Sultan Murad II, a leader whose remarkable act of mercy not only saved a life, but also transformed an enemy Seth's soul. Welcome to Noble Footsteps, the channel where we uncover the most inspiring and thought-provoking stories from Islamic history. We explore the lives of incredible rulers, brilliant scholars, and unsung heroes, discovering timeless lessons in character, justice, and leadership that are just as relevant today as they were centuries ago. If you love history that doesn't just entertain, but also uplifts and inspires, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. You won't want to miss the stories we have in store. Our story begins on a cool evening in Edirne, which was then the bustling capital of the mighty Ottoman Empire. Imagine the scene. The palace gardens are dimly lit by flickering torches, and a young Sultan Murad II is taking a quiet stroll, accompanied by just a few of his trusted guards. The atmosphere is peaceful, but hidden in the deep shadows, a figure waits. His heart is pounding in his chest, his hand clenched tightly around the cold steel of a dagger. He's not a man driven by ideology. He's been promised wealth, status, and power. All he has to do is complete one dark mission: kill the Sultan. As Sultan Murad passes the spot where the assassin is hiding, the man lunges forward, a blur of motion in the dim light. But the Sultan's guards are elite, their reflexes honed to a razor's edge. In an instant, they intercept the attacker, tackling him violently to the ground before he can reach his target. Swords are drawn, the air crackles with tension, and the assassin's life hangs by a thread. It could have all ended right there, a swift and bloody conclusion. But then, something unexpected happens. Sultan Murad raises a hand, his voice calm but firm, cutting through the chaos. "Stop," he commands. "Bring him to me, alive." The guards, though surprised, obey their sultan's order. They haul the would-be killer to his feet and escort him into the grand palace hall. Inside, under the bright lights of the chandeliers, the assassin stands trembling, fully expecting a swift and brutal sentence. This is the end, he thinks. But Sultan Murad approaches him not with rage, but with a composed and thoughtful expression. He looks the man in the eye and asks a simple, direct question: "Who sent you?" The man hesitates, his mind racing. Does he lie? Does he stay silent? But something in the Sultan's gaze compels him to speak the truth. In a broken voice, he confesses everything. He explains that he was deceived, manipulated by a group of corrupt nobles within the court who wanted to overthrow the Sultan for their own gain. He speaks of his own desperation, his poverty, and how he was used as a pawn in their dangerous game. He wasn't a hardened killer, just a man who had lost his way and made a terrible choice. Murad listens patiently, his face unreadable. The members of the court who have gathered watch in anticipation. They all know the law. Treason, especially an attempt on the Sultan's life, carries only one penalty: death. It's not just expected. It's considered necessary to maintain order and authority. But instead of delivering the sentence everyone is waiting for, Murad asks one final, astonishing question. "If I were to set you free," he says, his voice quiet but clear, "what would you do with your life?" At this, the assassin completely breaks down. The weight of his crime, combined with this unexpected moment of consideration, overwhelms him. Through his tears, he chokes out a vow. "My Sultan," he says, "for the rest of my days, I would pray for your well-being, and I swear I would never lift a hand against another living soul again." What happens next is the moment that would echo through history. To the absolute shock of everyone present, Sultan Murad steps forward and with his own hands unties the ropes binding the man who had just tried to murder him. The hall falls into a deafening silence. His closest advisors, his guards, the nobles, they are all speechless. A ruler showing mercy to his own assassin? It was completely unheard of. As the freed man stands there in disbelief, the Sultan speaks softly, not just to him, but to everyone in the hall. No one is born an enemy, Murad explains, but hearts can be misled and corrupted. Go home. Rebuild your life. You are forgiven. Later, when his advisors questioned his decision, concerned that it might be seen as a sign of weakness, Murad's reasoning was simple yet profound. He told them, justice is for the guilty. Mercy is for the misguided. He understood the difference between a man who was truly evil and one who had been led astray by desperation and deceit. This single act demonstrated a form of strength far greater than any execution could. It was the strength of compassion, of restraint, and of profound wisdom. This incident became one of the defining moments of Sultan Murad II's reign, solidifying his reputation as a ruler who valued principle over power. He understood that true authority wasn't demonstrated by the sword, but by the character of the one who wielded it. He showed his people and his enemies that justice could be tempered with mercy, and that a leader's greatest power lay not in his ability to destroy, but in his capacity to forgive and to inspire change. And what became of the assassin? He kept his promise. He disappeared from the capital and lived a quiet, reformed life. But years later, a message is said to have reached the Sultan. It read, "I was a man lost to the world, but your mercy returned me to life." The Sultan's compassion had not only spared a man's life, it had redeemed his soul. This incredible story teaches us something powerful. It shows us that while punishment can restrain a person's actions, it is mercy that has the unique power to truly change a person's heart. Sometimes the greatest victory we can achieve is not in defeating an enemy, but in transforming them. Sultan Murad II's legacy is not just one of military victories or imperial expansion, but of a ruler who understood that true strength lies in a just and compassionate heart. What do you think is the most powerful lesson from this story? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this story moved you and you want to discover more hidden gems from history, please show your support by liking this video and, most importantly, subscribing to Noble Footsteps. Thank you for walking with us on this journey into the past. We'll see you in the next episode.